So I've been reading through Nehemiah and the reconstruction of the wall. And really, God has been dealing with me on the opposition that he encountered during this reconstruction. And if you remember the story, the first thing that Sanballat and the other people who were upset about the progress that was being made, really because it threatened their power, really, was they ridiculed Nehemiah. Who do you think you are? Do you really think you can do this job? So they came in and just like little foxes, planted little seeds of ridicule, trying to get Nehemiah kind of to off his square. And as you read on and you see the progress continue and not cease, they became angrier and angrier and angrier. And they had to start like upping their game a little bit, like changing it up. So they go from just ridiculing him then to threatening their safety. We're gonna, we'll be among you before you know it. We're gonna invade. So now the people who are rebuilding are scared. That's their goal, is to scare them, to get them to stop. And then it goes from that to, progresses to, trying to get him to, Nehemiah to, get himself in a situation where he, jeopardizes his integrity. All of these things that he tries to do, all in an attempt to get the progress to stop on the rebuilding of this wall. And how many of you know that there is nothing new under the sun? You can go all throughout Scripture and see that same pattern of behavior, starting with the garden with Eve, questioning who you are, starting in, the garden with Jesus, questioning who you are, trying to get him scared and trying to get him fearful, and then trying to, lie and tell other people, all in an attempt to get him to stop what he was sent to do. And there's nothing new under the sun. I was talking to this gentleman who has a really good friend who has one of those one-up personalities. Yeah. And so everything he can do, well, I can do better. Your truck's junk, mine's great, blah, blah, blah. And so he got to a space where this man, the things that he was saying to him, he started to actually kind of believe. And he really got to a place where he believed that he wasn't as good as his friend, and the things he had wasn't, weren't great, and all this and that. And it got him to a place where he just they worked together. He just kind of stopped. He stopped trying on the job because he really thought this man could do the job better. And I reminded him of Nehemiah. And I reminded him of this pattern. And I said, that is a tool the enemy uses. That competitive edge that you have is a good thing. But he uses it to try to play your ego to get you to stop. That when you stop, that's when you've lost. So there really is nothing new under the sun. He's not a hard, the devil is not a hard thing to, his antics aren't hard to figure out. So if you find yourself in that position, right, where you're dealing with someone that makes you feel that way, if you can, remove them, like this guy can, remove them. If you're like Nehemiah and you can't, then you have to pray through it, right? That's what he showed us. He would pray through it and say, God, just give me strength when I want to quit, when this feels too much and overwhelming. Just give me strength, because I know that I can't stop. And that's our commission. As hard as it may get, we just can't stop.